What's up, y'all? I am Diablo Rodriguez, and welcome to my channel D1, where we talk all things money, finance, and life. Today's video is going to focus on Klarna. Let's get right into it.
Bruh. Klarna is $136 million in debt. First off, y'all started in debt because it was a dumb idea from the beginning. We already got credit cards. And then y'all started allowing people to put credit cards on credit. Dumb. We are not in a generation of our parents where our parents felt the want and the need to pay any and every bill back on time, and if not on time, the next month. This generation right here don't care, all right? They will literally look at you in the face and say, you should have never gave me the money in the first place. And to make matters worse, y'all started accepting anything and everything. Groceries, clothing, plane tickets, and y'all was close to accepting mortgages. And if that was the case, 136 would have been the least of y'all worries. Klarna, I know y'all came into the industry with good intentions, but these people don't give a damn. People will take a whole trip on a credit card, and then as soon as they return, fraud. It wasn't them. But you thought y'all was gonna get paid back. Right. Let that sink in. People will let their student loans lapse. Change jobs 6-7 times just so their wages won't get garnished. But y'all thought y'all was gonna get paid back. Right. People will not pay taxes. But y'all was gonna get right. So to Klarna, the poorhouse you go, because you ain't gonna be no more.
So I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. How many of you guys use Klarna or any other buy now, pay later system? Let me know in the comments below.
Y'all broke mother freakers out here abusing the Mr. Roger of credit, help, and whatnot. I'm talking about Klarna. Klarna is the Mr. Rogers of all that. They help you out. They help you borrow money from yourself. You know how broke you gotta be to abuse Klarna? And also, do you know how broke you gotta be to borrow money from yourself? They gonna fuck around and shut Klarna down because of you broke mother effers. And I gotta use Klarna now since I don't got food stamps anymore. I use Klarna to get food. And the nice thing about Klarna, they not like Apple. Apple will take your last dime. Klarna be like, hey, we got 3 more days before we want our money. Is it cool? We just want to check in on you though. But you know the different type of broke that you gotta be for Klarna. This is what you gotta do to scheme Klarna. This is what you gotta do. You gotta go to the bank account. You gotta go to the bank, open up a new bank account, get a debit card, make sure it's just enough money on that debit card in order to get the stuff that you want off of Klarna and close down that bank account. That's too much. If you broke, bitch, you don't need it. God damn, y'all. Ooh, wait.
So yeah, really quickly, do you know anyone that uses Klarna for food? More specifically, fast food? Let me know in the comments below.
Bruh.
So here's an interesting article from NBC News. Buy now, pay never? Some Klarna users struggle to repay loans as U.S. consumer debt rises. Households owe a record $18.2 trillion in various forms of debt. Many are trying to cut back while leaning on installment loans for basics. Klarna's customers are having a harder time paying back the installment loans they take out with the popular buy now, pay later service. The Swedish company's net losses doubled in the first quarter, even as its user base and revenue grew. Klarna reported Monday, weeks after pausing its plans to go public, after concerns about tariffs and economic uncertainty. Klarna's consumer credit losses swelled 17% in the first quarter from the same period a year earlier, hitting $136 million. Industry-wide, buy now, pay later borrowers are increasingly falling behind on their loan payments. In a survey conducted by the credit platform LendingTree last month, 41% of users said they paid late within the last year, up from 34% the previous year. At least a quarter of buy now, pay later users took out loans to pay for groceries, the survey found, up from 14%.
Bruh.
Okay, no hate to this person, but I think this opens up a really good opportunity to talk about why buy now, pay later programs, despite what the companies want you to believe, are not your friend. They are not here to help you. And yeah, while I agree that there are people out there who are responsible consumers and who might use Afterpay or buy now, pay later programs responsibly, the majority of people don't. I think this is a good time to bring in the research done by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Specifically, I want to talk about points 1 and 3 in their research and the findings from this research. So the first one says borrowers with subprime or deep subprime credit scores make up the majority of buy now, pay later originations. Subprime or deep subprime credit scores are scores that are under 580-ish. So what we're starting to realize is that buy now, pay later programs are essentially becoming another credit lender, essentially. And it becomes a habit. Over time, these purchases start adding up and you find yourself in a situation where you can no longer pay that debt. So then you're also incurring these financial penalties on top of the debt that you're already paying off. But I think the really interesting part of this statistic is that 45% of people who were using buy now, pay later had credit scores under 580. That is a cause for concern. And that's not pocket watching. I don't think I got accused of pocket watching in my last video, but I think that this is actually turning into a consumerism epidemic, and I think it needs to be pointed out. Okay, sorry. I want to also refer to bullet point 3, which states consumers with at least one BNPL loan in a given month were more likely to hold higher balances on other types of unsecured consumer credit. This just kind of confirms what I was saying earlier, that people are starting to use buy now, pay later as another form of a credit lender, essentially. So this is what the research is showing. It's showing that consumerism is at an all-time high, that even if people can't afford to buy stuff, they will find ways around it. And companies are starting to acknowledge that. They're starting to realize that people are going to buy no matter what. So they are releasing things like Afterpay and Klarna, which I want to finish off by saying are not good for you. And the research is showing that.
So the buy now, pay later system is extremely predatory. Anyone that's familiar with their business model knows that they're banking on you not making a payment. That's how they make their money. So a lot of people are wondering, I thought that the payments were interest free. They are if you make your payments on time. The moment you miss a payment, they can charge you interest up to 35.99%, which is absolutely diabolical. So if you're using the buy now, pay later system, please make your payments on time. But personally, I highly advise you don't use them at all.
Bruh. Stop buying items on Klarna. Buying items over 3 months means you still pay the same amount of money. Spreading it over 3 months just means that you can't afford it. This is something I see loads of people doing, and then you get in the cycle where you Klarna something this month, then you Klarna something next month, and then all of a sudden you've got 3 or 4 Klarnas going out at the same time. So essentially you're spending like 200, 300, 400 quid a month on it anyway. The reality of it is, if you can't afford to buy an item twice, maybe even 3 times, then you can't afford to buy it at all. So the fact that you're putting it on Klarna means that you probably can't afford it in the first place. You may think, well, yeah, it's only 15 quid, that's over 3 months, it's only £45 over 3 months, I can afford that, that's fine. But I can guarantee you the amount of things you will buy that you probably wouldn't have bought if you just spent the full money on it. It'll just be like an impulse buy or something you won't really use. And then if you add all that up over time, maybe over a year, over 2 years, you're probably talking thousands of pounds on items you A, maybe don't wear, B, you probably don't use it, it's just chucked in the wardrobe somewhere, or C, it was like that trend thing that you would have normally not bought because it was too expensive, but because you spread it out over 3 months, you bought it. So complete waste of money, could have been used somewhere a lot more productive. This may trigger a few people, there's a lot of Klarna fans out there, I'm sure, but yeah, let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. I think this is quite a good topic of debate.
Yeah, so I didn't know this until I was doing my research on this topic, but Klarna is really big out in the UK. So I was just thinking, or I was under the impression that Klarna was just a US phenomenon, but no. Our cousins across the pond in the UK use Klarna just as badly as we do.
Bruh.
Klarna is trying to get its hands on your money by any way it possibly can. Klarna is going beyond just offering buy now, pay later. They are now offering a debit card. And mark my words, a credit card is not too far away. The buy now, pay later company says that it wants to change its image so that it's no longer just a BNPL company, but now a more holistic banking player. That's what they all say when they invent their next cash grab. Now, if you trust Klarna's intentions, you should remember that they're the exact same company whose CEO literally bragged about replacing human workers with AI. So if Klarna wants to change its image, it should try to change its image around a ruthless company that fires workers and refuses to hire them because it thinks it can do their jobs for much cheaper using AI. Because to put it simply, if you don't have good intentions for your own workers, Why would I think that you have any good intentions for your customers? Klarna is just like every other finance company out there, except it's more brazen when it comes to replacing human beings.
Yeah, so I want to correct the OP really quickly. They mentioned that Klarna laid off a huge number of its human workforce in favor of AI. That was true at the time the OP posted their video, but in doing some research, I did find out that Klarna reversed that decision and hired back a huge number of their human workers. I still won't be using Klarna, but I'm glad they kind of corrected the ship on that because AI is taking way too many jobs.
Bruh.
All right, y'all, thank you so much for chilling with me today. So what is your opinion on this whole Klarna and buy now, pay later scheme? Do you support it or are you against it like I am? I think it's totally predatory and unnecessary, but I know a lot of people use it and actually appreciate the option when checking out at stores, when buying tickets and other things that they do without their lives. As always, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And be kind, be blessed, and remember, we're all in this together. Peace.
Bruh.